I'm Chris. That opening's I got a big burn on it. Tech Support said they're coming out Tuesday for that. I'm going to be reacting to this video by John Griffin, one of my favorites. We're about the same age. I think he's been divorced twice. I can't tell. I mean, he talks about the last one that kind of busted him up, and that's I think only a couple years ago. My last divorce was over 10 years ago. I want to just react to some of the stuff he says because I think he's still going on the blue pill thing because he was like super corporate guy. I was like half and a half out of that world. Let's keep going. Let's just check it out.
Some of the most important science to come out in the last couple of decades relates to the hot, crazy matrix. I erroneously called it a joke and when
yeah, because it does sound like a joke when you first hear it. Because if you're like blue pill, you're like, yeah, this kind of guy. He would. When I first heard it, I was like, okay, yes, of course, this is exactly. Because I heard it after my second divorce. I was like, yeah, of course, this is how it works, man. And the thing about the hot, crazy matrix, I think this autists have a real hard time just diagnosing what happened or what's going on. But the thing is, women who are pretty or men that are attractive, the same thing happens to both. Is they get away with a lot of stuff because they're good looking. And people want to be around them, and they'll actually pay a higher price to be around them for many different reasons. Usually, women they want to catch off the stragglers, pick off the stragglers, and be where all the action is because they're very socially active because they get a lot done with just looking how they are, and some people have certain personalities that they let that happen as well. They're total dicks, but people love being around them, so they put up with it. So this is also this codependency comes into it. It's like they have something that you want, so you're willing to you've been trained by your family situation to give up something to get something in a social situation, and this transactional approach, which is very normalized in our current society, which I don't think it always was, but it definitely is now.
One of my videos recently, and one of my commenters pointed out to me that the creators of the hot, crazy matrix were up for the Nobel Prize every year since its development.
I mean, it's kind of a funny thing. It is kind of a silly thing that there's this matrix of hot and crazy. It's like, okay, I know the more hot you are, the more crazy you are. And, there's a certain zone that you just can't deal with them anymore. And because they're just getting away with it because they got so many people cycling in that your individual presence doesn't really count for much. But when they're in this mode, you can't blame them. I mean, it's not that they're doing it wrong. It's just how the nature is set up. They have been given a roll of the dice that made them super attractive in some way. And for whatever the reasons are, whatever we can diagnose them to be, that it gives them a certain power in the world. And some of them use it. Shocking that humans would use their power in the world. Wow. Especially women who have been getting, the reins have taken off for all the reasons we won't go into. But they're going to start using their power. I mean, same thing with the top 10% of guys. The same thing is going to happen. There's most of the people are going to put up with a lot of shit from these people because they can. And they'll just keep going along because there's be another train of people coming along trying to get involved with me. So it's sort of like a little halfway back and forth. It's a little bit, not 100%, oh, they're just going to be nice people because they're pretty. It's like, I don't know, man. They get kind of screwed over as well. So they kind of get maybe pushed into being like this because of how silly people are around this.
So for those people who take that too seriously, I apologize. But the hot, crazy matrix is really important because it identified what most men know to be true in that.
No, only if you had experience enough to see it all the way through to some of these like relationships and, oh, we're married, we're really going to be here forever. And then they're like, I'm not happy. And, oh, I can get out of this anytime I want. And they kind of knew this going in. But you didn't. You thought you were just like, for life, forever. She's the one, the only one. And all this other stuff that's been maybe at one time when we were living to 35 years old. Yeah, that kind of made sense. And we're on these little isolated villages in the middle of freaking nowhere. And there's nothing else to do but raise kids. Yeah, kind of. And you were lucky to make it past 5 years old. And if you did, you're going to probably make it to 40, 45. And then, that's about it. That's so made sense. That's kind of marriages for life. That's kind of a lifetime back then. But I don't think with everything that's happened with our culture and these waves of social changes, they've had a strong effect, especially the laws, the family court laws and the no fault divorce laws. Why get married? What is the point for men? From women, there's a throwback. It's still in the court systems. They're thinking still like it's like 1930, and they're like women are so frail they can't help themselves. Like, and they get the alimony and all that stuff. Even though sometimes it does go to men, but come on, it's not really designed for that. It's super exceptions. So let's keep going.
There is a certain relationship between the attractiveness of a woman and the craziness of a woman.
Yeah, well, it's not the craziness; it's the allowance of people around her to put up with that behavior. Because it's learned behavior. If you can look, man, if guys were allowed, and some of them are allowed to get away with murder in all kinds of these different areas, don't you think they're gonna? Some of them are gonna. It's just kind of how it is. Why would you expect
There
it to be
is
different?
an exception, and that exception is identified in the hot crazy matrix as the unicorn.
Yeah, these don't exist. That's why it's called a unicorn. They don't exist. And if someone is checking all the boxes that make him a unicorn, it's probably a ladyboy. You're not dealing with a woman. But let's see what he has to say. I haven't watched this video yet. I'm just going to react to it.
The unicorn scores very high on the hot matrix. I think that's the vertical line, like a 9 or a 10. And about a 5 or even slightly less than a 5 on the crazy matrix. Now, I may be wrong. It may be that...
So above a 5, you can't deal with it. Below a 5, you can deal with the crazy. It's like it's mild enough crazy that you can deal with it, which is like so variable and completely relative to it's just the ideas to think about. It's like, and the thing is, it's like there's a unicorn out there. I can possibly find her, and we will be together forever. Look, man, for those kind of people that are thinking that's available still, they wouldn't be watching the internet. They wouldn't be watching this. They wouldn't be on the internet. They'd be in some religious commune somewhere. Ooh, and then they're just completely isolated from this particular society that we happen to drop ourselves into. Yeah, that's not going to be a thing, and that's over. Now, you can have long-term relationships with people. Yes, you just don't start the steps, right? First step, you're going steady, right? You're now boyfriend, girlfriend. Second step, you're going out, you're talking, you're going out, and then you're going steady or whatever. You're boyfriend, girlfriend, and then what's next? Engagement, right? What's after that? Marriage. What's after that? Well, sometimes you have a kid or two, maybe not, but what's after that? Well, there's the trial separation. And then the full separation. You have to petition the court for the separation. And then there's the filing of divorce by somebody. Oh, no, there's their marriage counseling. You do 3 or 4 sessions of that to realize, oh my God, this is crazy. And somebody gives up. So it's like, no, I can't do it. And then the divorce court, divorce proceedings, which if you're going to do the standard American thing, which is very traditional now, you have to get a divorce lawyer, and they have to fight about Beanie Babies and tables and cars and houses and stuff. So you go through that for a few years, and you give half your money to them, and you think it's a great deal because they're really fighting for you. And then so they put their kids through college doing that, and you lose half your money and half your business or whatever, and then you're done. And then you're divorced, and then you think that I just didn't find the unicorn. I just didn't find the right unicorn. Right, John? We're just gonna go find that right unicorn. Is that what we're gonna do now? And I can make fun of this because I've done this. I tested your theories. I tested the social theories when there wasn't this red pill stuff around. Because, dude, you should have known. It's like people didn't talk about any of this stuff. It's like people heard you're getting married, getting engaged. Like, oh yeah, that's great. No, like mention of, oh yeah, if you like sex, don't do that. You'll be done. You'll be over. And oh, by the way, you won't get any extra respect. That's 1962, man. Wait, this is 1990s. This is 2000s. Like, there's no extra respect. You're a straight up chumpy thing. I'm like, those people knew, but like, if you're like in the middle of it, I found the unicorn, and like even with like mine, I was together for like 9 years. I was still on the fence. I was like, okay, well, I guess after 9 years, people pretty much know people. They're not going to change. Oh, no. I was sorely mistaken. Women can change at a whim. Somebody talks to him about something. You shouldn't put up with the, but how could he? How dare he? He's not. Oh, you can't believe he's not doing all the everything. You don't think he's not doing half the chores.
Below a 5 doesn't actually exist. But I'm just doing this from memory. So excuse me if I'm wrong. Feel free to correct me in the comments. I'm sure you will.
Oh, man.
So today, what I want to identify are what are the real detailed characteristics of that unicorn.
Oh my God. Let's go. Okay, let's hear.
Crazy is just
Let's
too
hear it.
broad a field, or too broad a word, and it's left open to interpretation. And we can all identify crazy in different ways.
It's not crazy. It's can you put up with her or not? It has nothing to do with I crazy. Oh, it's crazy. It's like, can you put up with her crazy behavior? Not if she's gonna be crazy because they're all crazy a little bit. So, like, can you put up with it? Are they aware of it? Do they think it's your fault? Are they gonna try and blame you? Are you gonna get a restraining order because you didn't figure out that she's you cannot tolerate when she starts throwing plates at you, throwing cups and saucers, harder implements, the hammers. Dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball.
But finding a unicorn, or at least knowing what the characteristics of a unicorn are.
Okay, so first of all, the fact that you're talking like normal about finding unicorns. Oh, let's go out searching for unicorns. Hey, let's go. What is another one? Snipe. You gotta go hunt snipe. Oh, it's a bearded. It's like horned rabbits. Jackalopes. We're gonna go find some jackalopes.
I think could be very helpful because when I make other videos and I pointed out many of the shortcomings of women, or I try to identify what an ideal woman would be like, I'm told that I need to provide more detail or that that's not possible. And I think that it is.
No, he's talking. He's talking like he's in a different class than me, a little bit different echelon of society. So I was like middle class. He's like a little bit upper middle class. He was super corporatized. So in that realm, it's not as. I mean, I guess this just is nuts. It's just hidden. It's talked about in polite hushed tones. You know he's leaving her. You know that Jim is leaving Jane. Did you know that? Instead of like, fuck you, I'm out.
It's possible. I think that once you can identify what the positive characteristics of a healthy woman are, you can start looking for them, and you'll know them when you see them.
That's all fine and good. I just gotta let you know right up front, women can hold up that mask for a very, very long time. If they think they got a positive thing, they'll be positive. But the minute they don't think they got a good deal going, oh, they're gonna dump it because there's nothing stopping them. There's no culture stopping them. The community's not shaming them. They leave their kids at single moms forever. And it's that's just a great. Oh, they're so strong and independent. All like there's nothing restraining them. So as soon as things go wrong, and they can blame someone, which who are they gonna blame? Certainly not themselves, of course not. And they can't. You're responsible for their happiness. Don't you remember what you said you were gonna make me happy?
So let's talk about unicorns. So the first characteristic of a real unicorn is she is going to be extremely confident in her own feminine frame. I know we talk about masculine frames a lot on this channel. And we talk about
you're gonna be comfortable in your feminine frame. What the fuck does that even mean, dude? You mean she's okay with being a girl? Or she's not a total raging bitch, cunt, slut? It'd be like being this mean to you all the time? Is that the dividing line? She's like sweet and homely and well, not homely, but like homey and kind of a nice person to be around and not total dip. I can take a joke. Maybe can take a joke. We're still talking about unicorns, by the way.
What that means to build a masculine frame and to maintain it and to defend it to some extent. But there's also a feminine frame, and it is equally important. A woman who feels confident in her own femininity will, you won't find her exposing herself in ways that would be unbecoming on Instagram, for example.
Okay, these women don't exist. This is maybe a generational thing, but this is not a thing, man. I mean, they might be there, but they're not going to be looking for. They're not going to look. These are for the top 5%, and even then, how the things are set up, you're not going to keep her like that. Come on now, there's just too much incentive for people like for marriage. We're talking about marriage, like if you can just deal with them or not, or can you deal with their crazy shit or not? And just leave the marriage stuff out of it, man. Because that stuff doesn't even matter. To have a marriage actually work, you have to have a community. A real community. Where they're not done on the weekends. Where like she's out messing with her friends all day. She's going over to her mom's place. They're going over to sister's place. They're going over to their cousin's place. They're making something over there. We'll meet them over there after work. Blah, blah, blah. All that stuff. Not on the weekends, part-time, after the chores are done. That's not how this works. So, and when you have a community, a real community where people know each other and they interact with each other, not behind closed doors, atomized, I don't know anybody, I'm going to order food in. Hi, neighbor, I just take my trash out. That's not it. I know, because we haven't seen it in a long time, so that's why it's not possible right now. And stop trying to find fucking unicorns.
You won't find her on OnlyFans. You won't find her trying to
You
measure
might,
herself up against other women
but
because she knows
not
in her
marry
own
her.
mind that she is confident in her ability to attract the kind of man that she wants. She doesn't need to
Yeah.
use sex as a weapon to achieve the things that she wants.
Oh yes, they do. What do you think's going on here, buddy? It is all about the sex. That's the thing that we can't get from something else. We can't get from other guys. Okay, unless you're that way, and I'm not that way, and you wouldn't be on to listen to me that far. This far if you're that way, you already have your problem. Your sex problem is solved if you're gay. You have other issues. But for men, yeah, it's a big problem. Because women are like, no, I'm gonna keep racking up the price, and it's like until you're out of the market. And like, well, there is no market. It's just like the marriage is a bad idea, except for women. Women think it's an awesome idea. They can snag a blue pill symptom to get them hitched up, take his money out 6 months or a year or 2 years or 5 years or whenever they feel like it. Come on.
In a relationship.
Incentives.
You'll notice right away that she looks you in the eyes when she talks. She manages herself in public with.
They can fake all that shit, man. If they can figure out what you actually want and they want you, they're gonna fake all that shit. They can do it for a long, long time. They're kind of chameleons. It's really built into their nature to do this if they like you, because they're actually sacrificing themselves to do this thing. But it's natural for them because I know it's just really hard to listen. We are the products of hundreds of thousands of generations of our grape. Okay? This is the ugly truth, right? All of our parents, all of our we are descendants of many, many, many generations of warring tribes where they've killed the males, steal the females, impregnate the females, kill their babies, all this shit. All this shit. So this is built into how we are made and how we are constructed and what we are. It's our survival. Look, if they didn't act this way, they would not be here because they would have been killed and destroyed they would have been taken out of the gene pool because they weren't compatible with this system of war. Look, man, humans aren't nice people. We are genocidal bastards. And women and our species has learned to survive in this kind of environment, and this is what we've had to deal with. So this is why they're like that. It's not because they're bad people. It's because of the conditions in the society have made it such this is how we have to do it to survive. And they're going to use everything under their power to do it. I don't like it. They don't like it. It's harsh. It's nasty. It's brutish. It's very economic and it's very efficient and transactional. It's like it's all based around money and status and all this other bullshit, which is like completely anti-human. Like we don't have that in our families. There's natural status, like because you want to take care of your people and your people because they're your family. It's like, okay, so the further we get away from that into this like economic zone bullshit, yeah, we're gonna have these issues are not gonna go away, and marriage doesn't even matter in this context because it's atomized. It's been weaponized to destroy people who are not aware or this is what's going on. It's designed to take advantage of weak-minded and codependent people who don't understand what they're getting involved with, man. It's like this shit's bad, and this stuff does take down societies, and it's probably gonna take this one down too, because of the population collapse, which is not going away, and it's serious, and it's not a joke.
With decorum.
Decorum. Yeah, they can fake all that, man. They can fake all that stuff for a long, long time.
She's not glued to her phone all the time. These are just some of the signs that you will notice in a.
What do you expect? You've taken away their entire social structure. You've atomized them and told them to go to college and forget about having families and go work for a 9 to 5 in some corporation, faceless corporation somewhere.
Confident woman. She doesn't need a masculine facade in order to be confident in her own femininity.
Well, that's because she's taking care of some other place, and that's probably not going to be you, buddy. You better step up to be able to take more care of her than that. And it's very rare these days that women aren't good-looking, smart women haven't been inundated with this message of you go girl, and you got to have a career, and you better have a backup plan, and he's going to leave you, and all this other shit that they all get programmed with. And men don't get that programming, so we don't get that dose. And we assume that they're not getting either, but they're getting a heavy dose of it. Heavy dose of this crap. So to expect a unicorn is really that. The unicorns don't exist, man. Even if it looks like they've glued a fucking stick on the head of a horse, it ain't gonna fucking unicorn, man. It's not. They're not flying around on rainbows, okay?
So women who take on a masculine persona in order to,
They have to.
find some frame.
They have to in this culture. This culture's trained them to. They train them to try to be equal with men, right? So they knocked down men, tried to build up women, told them that they can do this, and they're just like not into it, man. They don't want to compete like we do. We are totally down for it. We're like, yeah, for business, get the deal, blah blah blah. Work 79 hours a week, blah blah blah. But they're not into that. They want to go play and have fun in the sun and raise babies and talk to their girlfriends about goofy shit that we don't have anything to do with, and where they get the best berries, and look at this thing I've made for you, and we're coming over on Tuesday for something. That's the shit that makes the culture, man. That's it. With all this slow down, like goofy stuff that women love to do. Like that's the culture, man. It ties families together. It makes it a nice place to live, not a fucking exploitative economic zone where we bring in an H-1B visa because we gotta be number one. Number one in what? In what? Shipping off chips? It really? Software programs that mess your brain up, makes you have to pick a party. You gotta pick a party to be aligned with. You gotta pick a side every single day. And you have to get with limited information, and like, but you gotta pick a side right now. Who are you? What are you? Why are you telling me? No, you must pick. Or you're a bad person. One person say, you pick our side, we're good. You pick their side, you're bad. It's like, whoa. Guys, this is not culture. This is some simulacra of somebody's whacked out idea of what the world looks like. It's like, no, it's not the world, man. That's some weird fucking MK Ultra bullshit. Some PSYOP 5th gen bullshit warfare. Carpet bombing your mind with this bullshit. It's like, what are you guys doing?
Frame are doing that as a substitute for their inability to find a natural feminine frame. So they try to mimic men and try to become more.
They've been trained, so they've been told that they have to be better than men. I can do anything you can do, but better, but backwards and heels. Like, no. I mean, they can, but it's not the thing they like to be doing. They would. I mean, we can do the gossiping, going around baking cookies, but it's not really like to do that. We can. We're capable. It's not really like to do. I mean, some people are. Some people like the cooking and smoking meats and stuff. Yeah, that would be badass to do that all day. Some people like go out and hunt, get your own meat, and can bring it back and cook it, smoke it, then feed it up to your family. If they could do that full time, oh yeah, a lot of men would just do that. But that's not what we're told to do in this crazy ass society. Let's keep going.
More man-like in order to establish their personality in some way. And I think there are some women where maybe that is appropriate. You find some women that are, very masculine in their interests. But 5%. For the most part, you want to find a woman who feels confident and natural in her own femininity. And that is very difficult to do these days. But that's the first one.
Good luck. I ain't going to find one.
The next quality that's going to be very difficult to find is emotional balance. Ooh, that probably goes directly to
emotional balance. That's what makes them super fun. That's what makes women super interesting, and that they're not locked into logical, autistic. Oh, I get it, 16 different points on this. The woman thinks like we get locked in that shit, so we're annoying to be around. But then they're not locked in that. They're all free, la 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 la. It's like, dude, yeah, hell yeah. Free, alive, not trying to have a goal, except maybe make a meal and feed the family and make everybody feel cozy. God damn.
Crazy, but emotional balance is something that is possible in a woman, and I think you.
It's possible. You're saying it's possible? I mean, okay, so there are like 5-10% of women that are super logical. And they're autistic as much as the regular guys are. But that's not what makes them fun. Holy shit! But it's like you must know all the things, and you suppress your emotionality to do this logical shit and work 9 to 5 for our boss. And if you aren't keeping up the latest technology, we're gonna put you on a PIP plan.
Need to really watch for that quality. You can identify it usually when you see a woman who's not easily upset, easily pushed to the edge.
Right. So he's remembering a time when this was our culture. This was our culture. So when we were kids, when me and him were kids, there was still remnants of this around, and it was the vibe of like calmness, sweetness, gentleness, care, asking random questions about goofy stuff that don't matter, doing holiday stuff, like cooking meals, like caring about that stuff. That's what we grew up. We kind of that's our normal, right? That's what I knew. I know what it's like. And that was at the tail end of it. And like how was it? So that's why he's like, really, I guess it might be possible because we definitely had that experience. Like, yeah, that's over. That ended around 2008 when the financial system collapsed and it hasn't recovered yet. And we're still in the throes of that. We're having no one's like, okay, we got to pull the plug. It's like, no, we can keep it going. We can do trillions of dollars of interest per year. We could pay more interest than the military budget of the United States of America. Interest payments. Oh, this is sustainable. Make sure you go work for your 95 boss and put all your money in the 401k. Max it out.
Woman who's not got high highs and low lows. That manic behavior that you see sometimes can be a little overwhelming. And it's a fine line between showing true, genuine happiness and acting out in ways that are inappropriate for the experience, whatever the experience is. I remember with my ex-wife, she would just show extreme happiness at times when it seemed like, it's okay, it's not like over the top. And then extreme sadness when things wouldn't go exactly right. So the ability to find a woman
that's how women are, man. That's what makes them wonderful. Holy crap, dude. That's why we're attracted to them. If they're like even keeled logic zone drone like we are, well, some of us. I'm a little goofy, but that's boring as fuck, man. And they are. That's the worst thing you do with a woman is bore the shit out of her. You bore her, she will hate you. She's like, you're not supposed to be fucking boring. So you just gotta know this is about them and just be totally cool with it. And the thing is, like, they would get a lot of this out of their system. Well, not out of their system. It would be just like how their systems work by having the community of women and other people that would kids and stuff, and they would be taking care of these things at home and building their own house. And that's all gone. The 80s blew that shit out of the water. Equal rights, you can do everything you can. I'm gonna be a boss babe. I'm gonna have shoulder pads. I'm gonna put the shoulder pads in there. I'm going to the office. I'm gonna do everything they can do. It's like, you don't want to do. We hate these jobs. We don't want. If we could get away when we could. Like can we go hunt and smoke our meats, and you could go to the office and do that bullshit and deal with those assholes? No. Okay, let's keep going.
Emotional balance is probably one of the most important qualities that you need to find in a unicorn. And spiritual connectedness is also another very, very important one. Not only spiritually connected to you, but she has a profound spiritual underpinning, so that she realizes that she is not the most powerful force in the universe, and that.
What? I don't know where he's getting this from, but we'll keep going. I object to this whole line of reasoning.
There's more to this life than meets the eye. If she understands that.
Yes, but they're grounded in this material reality. We're the ones that get spiritually connected up. Blah 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 blah. We're the ones that love that shit, getting into all the logic and reasoning and why do we exist? They're in time and space. We zip around in time and zip around in space. They're in time, in space, dealing with it in the now, in the moment. We're more outside, running around, and they're taking it in, all of it, at the same time, holistically, and that is a spiritual thing. Sir?
Then that kind of helps create a self-regulating power that will help maintain emotional balance and rational behavior, even when things go sideways. Now, all women are going to be emotional. There's no question about it. So what I'm talking about here are the emotions that are inappropriate for the experience, whatever the experience is, whatever the
inappropriate for the experience. Who's to say? The really bottom line is like, can you deal with her? It's not whether she understands this, because it goes in and out of that stuff too. But can you deal with her being like this? Is she eventually going to calm down? Does she listen? Can you pat her on the head, say everything's going to be okay, and just say everything's going to turn out all right? And she'll then listen. She'll rely on you. It's like, we're going to work through it one way or another. Even if we don't, we're going to work through it one way or another. If you can't do that with a woman, you let her go spin off into the ethers. Oh yeah, that's bad. Again, but the thing about this also is like, that's just a reminder for her, right? If she's looking for you to be 100% on point at all times. Well, that's asking a lot. So it's like it has to be this blend, right? Where it's like I'm here for you, but you really gotta hang your own stuff, deal with it, your own stuff. And if you can express it, that's fine. But if you start taking it out on me or trying to make me responsible for dealing with your stuff, come on now. I can't do it. It's just not possible. Even if I would want to, people promote that this is possible. They can just do this with other people, make them all happy. It's like, no, you can't do that. They got to be kind of happy inside already. And it can't be just a fake thing. And they got to be like okay with it. And that's just very difficult these days and age because the community is blown apart of the stuff that made them all feel, because they're horizontally integrated, right? They need to have all kinds of connections to all kinds of people, random shit. Sally, why do you hang out with Sally down the street? I don't know, she's kind of cool, but I don't know, she's goofy and stuff. We pick flowers and we do. It's like stuff that makes no sense. That has no business qualm. There's like no strategic battle. There's nothing can be gained from it other than hanging out with another human being. It's that stuff. It's like, okay, we don't understand it, but it's necessary. And then we know that they got blown away. That's gone now. That whole community thing is very rare. So that's very, except if you're retired. If you're retired, you might still have it as a boomer. But these kids, they don't have it today. It's totally atomized. We don't need to spend time with. They've got these screens, right? We can just spend time with the screen and do these pseudo parasocial relationships. Okay.
Outcomes are, whatever is happening in her life.
Bad for society. Definitely not going to be reproducing to continue this thing. This non-local thing where women have to do the same job as men, except not as good, and get blamed for it because they can't do it as good. But they don't even fucking care. They've just been told to care about it because it's going to get them to the happy. And then all of a sudden they feel like they realize they've been lied to, and they're 35 years old. It's like they got 3 years left. If they're lucky to have a family and kids, and even by then it's like now you're going to be tired dealing with these kids. It's like, what do you guys got whacked in the head?
If her emotions are a match to that, then fine. But if her emotions seem out of context with what's going on, well, that's a red flag, and you can't have that. That's not a unicorn. So we're looking for a woman who is emotionally balanced and is able to manage situations, especially in public.
Where's she going with this?
Some red flags would be if she loses her shit when she's talking to a service person, like a waiter or someone in a hotel maid.
To all of us. Does that mean that's the immediate red flag? It's like even people that are good people have this happens to them. They get frazzled. They get put to their wits' end. They get tried. In areas where they weren't ready, and they're just, this is life, right? It's like how they treat you really is it. I mean, whether you can deal with their crappy shit that happens every once in a while, because we all got that stuff, right? If it's completely unacceptable, it's hitting and violence. Yeah, get away. But it's throwing, screaming, yelling, crying. Maybe that's just how we have to deal with to be around this person that has all these other wonderful qualities. But even then, it's like we're asking a lot for the stuff that's just not available right now. It's might come back soon if the state of the economy keeps going the way it is. But right now, it's not here, and everyone kind of knows that. And the only people left that kind of remember it are me and him. Like they're talking about this on YouTube. It's like me and him, like guys like him. We can remember there was a time when there were lots of people like this because it was normal. It was just the way you did stuff. You weren't expected to go work in an office or a boss. You were expected to stay at home and raise your damn kids.
That kind of thing. If she gets
and goof off with your girlfriends and go spend time with them, dilly dally, gossip, get together and talk, chit chat. That's what they used to do. It was pointless, retarded, but it made our whole society really super nice to be around and be inside of. It really was. Like, I swear to God.
Very angry in traffic. I remember I was on a date with this woman a long time ago before I got married, and we were going to some music concert, a country music concert, and this guy cut me off. He was merging into traffic, coming off an off-ramp or on-ramp or whatever, and he cut me off. And she rolled down the window, flipped this guy off, and stuck her head out there and screamed at him.
Hell yeah! That's a keeper! I would have buried her right there. Hell yeah, lady, let's go. I can't do that, but thanks for doing it for me.
We're driving down the road. I had never seen behavior like that from a woman. It's like, what?
I have. I've dated a few of them. They're super fun. They're one of the best people I've been around. They're like, yeah, they got your back. They got your back. They're willing to take a hit for you. They know you can't do anything about it. If you were to go do that thing, you might get shot. But she does it. She can do it all damn day. Nobody gives a shit.
Was that? Not only that, but now I've got to back that up.
No, you don't. No, you don't. Oh, you say she's out of pocket. Sorry. The other guy was like, oh yeah, okay.
I don't know who she's screaming at. I don't think
Oh my gosh. Okay, keep going.
he's got a gun. I don't know if he's going to be really pissed off.
He won't do it. He won't shoot her. She might shoot you. You did that kind of shit. He shoot you, yeah, but not shoot her. Come on, she's being silly.
What the hell, you know? That was not a unicorn. That is
Maybe
the opposite of
was.
unicorn.
Maybe that was a unicorn, sir. Maybe that wasn't your unicorn. I mean, you just don't know how to identify. Your unicorn radar is a little off, buddy.
Unicorn behavior. So I'm not going to go too deep into empathy and compassion because I think that's something that most women have, especially for children and dogs and cats.
No, they don't. No, that's not universal, sir. Where'd you get that idea? So this is more blue pill program. So he's still got some of the programming left. Puppies and spice and everything nice. He's still got a little bit of the programming left. I get it. It's hard to get rid of, especially for older guys like us, because we remember that it was common. It was like the norm. What he's talking about was the norm for most women. Really. I know it's hard to believe that this was a thing, but that's why we're so like people like us are freaking out. It's like, what happened to our society? What happened to our culture? This wonderful, like warm, silly, goofy, ridiculous place that was just fun to be around and be inside of. Where did it go? Unicorn land.
And that sort of thing. Maybe even old people, but definitely watch for it. I mean, if you see a woman who's lacking empathy and compassion, not your unicorn. Part of that feminine frame is embracing vulnerability as a strength. Now, this is contradictory to a lot of things that men consider attractive.
Yeah, and they've definitely been told don't do that shit. They've been told 100 times, 1,000 times to not do that shit. And they got the message until they turn 35 and understand what the fuck that means. And but the guys, let's be honest, they're not super like gung ho with dealing with these broads because, like, let's face it, what's the value? Are they going to cook? Are they going to clean? Are they going to create that society, that world, that thing, that culture? Are they going to do that stuff, or are they going to go work at a job and compete with you, and they make a little bit more than you, and they're going to say you're being a bum, you're not making enough money, and they divorce you? Like, what? This whole thing's crazy.
Important to men. But to women, this is a really valuable characteristic. If a woman understands that her vulnerability is a strength that she can use in a relationship to attract...
Only in a hard bound, like a defined edge, she can be vulnerable inside that. When she's protected and kept safe and solid and don't have to worry about all the, you got to go to work, you better compete with the next guy. You better get your coding skills up to par. You better get your AI conforming marketing program representative. You better get that going better than the guy because he's coming up. He's got you. He's gonna get you. It's like, dude, when you're putting them on, put that on them. Yeah, they're gonna be like, yes, they're gonna be really harsh, and that's gonna be most women. They've been convinced. They've been convinced because there's been no prevailing, like, hey, you're giving up family life. They're like, fuck family life. I'm not going to be a slave to some man. Those are your kids. That's your family. Those are your people. Do you know what it's like to be around your people, hanging out with your family, seeing them grow up and change and be ding-alongs and act silly? And you get to be around all that. Look, man, I live here in Mexico. The people here, they have to rely on each other, and they're all about the family here. And it's like the stark contrast is so severe for me. It's like, wow, people say it's not possible. It's like, well, if you get rid of all the money and everyone, like the fact that there's a lot of people here, they don't get access to the loans and all the things. They can't get access to education, so they got to rely on each other. And it looks like they're having a good time, man. Like the parties that they have here and how they act and how they get along with each other, it's fucking awesome, dude. Like it's wide. It's eye opening because I know it's possible to have this culture. I mean, this is one border away. This culture is one border away, and they don't have no money. They don't, but they're well dressed. They got places. They got a house over their head. They don't look like they're starving.
Men. That is a very, very powerful woman.
They say buenos dias, which means good day. When you walk by the street, even to gringos like me, they say buenos dias. Buenas tardes. Buenas noches. Like a real culture, like a real civilization. where people are civil to each other. We have a civilization. Come on.
Because
So let's keep going.
by making yourself vulnerable, you are kind of leaving yourself at the mercy of some other person to some degree, and then trusting in that person to do what's right. A woman who can do that confidently is special. That is a definite indication that you're looking at a potential
Good luck, man.
unicorn.
A potential unicorn. You're looking at a unicorn, which doesn't exist. I gotta keep saying this. It's like he's trying to put it like John, if you're gonna watch this video, I'm gonna reply into this comment section, buddy. The blue pill stuff, you gotta let that shit go. There's just women are not about it. They don't like it. They've been told it's terrible, and you can't find one ready to go. They just gotta put her in your house and just get her in the kitchen and start cooking. That's not the way this works.
Authenticity obviously is a huge factor. You've got to find someone who's very comfortable in their own skin. They know who they are. They know what their strengths and weaknesses are.
Do you know who you are, really? We're 50, 60 years old. I'm almost 60 years old, right? I'm just starting to understand something. You're expecting a woman to understand these, like floating around, and she needs a community of people to actually tell her who she is and what she can do and how she works and what's normal, what's good. And if that doesn't exist, where's she gonna get it? Social media. Ooh, I wonder if they're doing any psyops on those ladies. Constant 24/7. OnlyFans.
And they aren't afraid to talk about them. You know, so if they feel like they are lacking in some way, having the comfort level, the comfort in your own skin, the authenticity, to own it is a huge strength. I mean, that's definitely a character.
How would that be possible, sir? How is that possible, man? This environment does not allow for that. All they're doing is telling them, you better compete against a man, and you better kick his ass, and you better claw his eyes out and do a sexual assault report and get a restraining order and get him fired. Because he said, hello, how are you? How was your day going? This is crazy culture.
We should look for in a unicorn.
It's got to be falling over soon.
It's very
this can't go for much
especially
longer.
These days where everyone's trying to pretend to be something they're not. And women in particular are trying to put on this persona that is contrived completely. Now, men do it too.
Yes, that's their survival mechanism. They're presented with an environment that's saying you got to do this to make it happen, to make it. You have to do this to survive. What do you expect them to do?
I'm not saying that it's only about women, but a unicorn will definitely be a very authentic person, and you will find that she is very comfortable in her skin. I guess that's probably the best way to put it.
That can all be faked.
Softness and tenderness are critical elements of any unicorn. It's a positive, powerful, feminine energy, and it's something that you should be watching for in any woman that you...
Yeah, and anyone that actually presents that way, that you can see that's doing that, is going to be taken advantage of by a bunch of fucking assholes, man. So they can't be like that. The community is not there to protect that. The community of people who were natural in the local vicinity, it wasn't group chats. It wasn't Facebook groups. No, I'm talking about actual people you know and go talk to and go slowly, go walk over to their house or to go ride down the bike down the thing or meeting in the park physically around each other, and people that were like a little different than you but also the same because they're all kind of in the same boat doing the same thing, same wavelength. Never heard of it? Okay.
Are considering having a relationship with. But that softness and tenderness should also be combined with a level of resilience. Women these days do not seem to have a great deal of resilience.
Why? How could they? They're holding on by like a thread, man. They're not designed for this kind of bullshit. This is like men's society. This is like a man-oriented society. Where the women are thrust into it. It's like, oh, you can do it. You're just as good. It's not what they're... Yes, they can do it, but it's not what they wanted. It's not what they're built for. Because, man, they get into these corporate environments. They try to replicate these common communities. They make a safe space. And we're got a family here. And you can come to HR anytime. And any complaint without anybody. Sexual harassment. You fucking assholes. How dare you? How dare you try and take this woman out of this office? Put her in the kitchen. How dare you? And give her babies and she can educate them herself. What are you doing? Oh my God! What about our 401k system? Incredible.
Sometimes men can misinterpret female resilience because women are emotional and they may cry or be upset about some set of circumstances that they're faced with. But their ability to push through anyway. That's the resilience I'm looking for, is that ability to push through difficult times, even though it's very upsetting and hard to swallow. I think that if you can find that in a woman, you will find a powerful ally, someone that when things go bad, she'll have your back. And not only will she have your back, but she may...
They barely have their own back. A lot of these women, you like put all this things to power, like they're at home, like dehydrated, just hoping somebody will come by and save them. They can't roll out of bed. They're so depressed or sad, or they're gonna want to make food. They don't want to make it because or they eat crap and they have no energy. They don't care, or they're just on the hamster wheel. And they don't have time to even think about anything else but getting to work tomorrow and 9 to 6, 9 to 7, because they're working 60 hours a week to beat the guys. This whole thing's insane, right? Am I the only one seeing this? This is crazy. No, you gotta get a degree. You gotta get in their office. You gotta get a top Fortune 500.
Find a path forward that you never thought of that could resolve the problem, whatever it may be. And that level of resilience is extremely valuable. I mean, that puts her, a 10 plus in my book.
Now, I think there may come a time again where this may come to fruition because we're in the. If it wasn't obvious, we're in a depression. Like they keep redefining. Oh no, it's a dozen says it's 2 quarters, a negative. Just like get the fuck out of here. Everybody knows we're in a depression, man. They wouldn't be trying to pump in all these illegal aliens to take the low hanging jobs that Americans can't survive on, because you can't literally survive on them because we're Americans. Our culture is like we can't have 65 people in our house. But some other cultures are still okay with that. It's because it's way better than where they came from, which was 95 people in their house. This whole thing's going to fall over.
A unicorn has to be able to communicate effectively and isn't afraid to tell you.
Oh, communicate effectively. Now, where were they learning all this effective communication? On social media where they're scrolling 16 hours a day? Not talking to anybody, just texting? They will not pick up the phone. They won't pick up the phone. What are you talking about? Communication skills. Here's my Instagram reel. You want to see my tits on OnlyFans for $5? There's my communication skills. Are you crazy? This guy's he's reliving the past, right? Because he's like, you look at his eyes, he's like doing the scanning of the past, right? It's like, yeah, this is how it used to be. Yes, this was how it used to be. It really was like this. There really were people around that you could find that would be like this, but that's not today.
Tell you what's on her mind or what she's feeling. If you're in a relationship with a woman, you want to be able to trust that she's going to tell you really what's going on. Too often times,
really? She's gonna tell you what's going on with all those communication skills. Really, sir, all those communication skills are learned in those communities, those social bond communities where people just spend a lot of time around each other and not doing much. Not scrolling on your fucking Instagram. Scrolling on your iPad. That's not it, man. That's not how we learned how to communicate. We were in these groups of random people, physically, present, eye to eye. We could punch them. We could slap them. We could kiss them. We could hug them. Not, check out my reel. You get $5.99 OnlyFans for see my asshole per month. It's all per month. Oh, look at me. I'm a top 2% OnlyFans girl. There's no fucking unicorn. Stop with the unicorn bullshit. Don't even think that way. It's really stupid. It's really counterproductive way of thinking about things.
Hide their emotions or hide their thoughts or try to play a game with you. And that bullshit just doesn't fly because it inevitably will sabotage your relationship. So good communication.
But it delays it in the moment. Don't have to deal with it then. Just push it in the future. Isn't that what the society is about? Just push the problems in the future. Somebody else will deal with it. So not me. Fuck no. Let's push it off the future. What do you think our society is about? What do you think our culture is about? What do you think fiat currency is all about? All this money, we'll get a loan. We'll get a loan at 78% interest. That'll solve the problem.
Skills are critically important. Along with that comes creativity and intuition. So a woman who can communicate well.
Her intuition is that you're a chump, can pay her bills for about 6 years until she can't deal with you anymore and gets rid of you. That's her intuition.
Should also be very intuitive.
I'm going to let you listen to the rest of this guy. I like most of his stuff, but sometimes when he's talking about this stuff, because he just doesn't have the experience I've had after the second divorce, I was like, okay, I'm never going to get married again. I'm not going to think about it. I'm going to do this. I'm also not going to present with money. I went this minimalist route, and boy, did I have a lot of fun. But yeah, I did something different. You have to find out what that is by going to my other channel, Man Free World, and find out how I quit drinking. And you could find that out. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it there, and let you go watch the rest of it if you're so inclined. Because I was just gonna be repeating myself. If I keep watching any further, and give me a like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.